Well, hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Soulivity today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And whether you're at home, driving, or at work, we're always glad you're here with us. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and we have such an amazing show for you today. But before we get to our show, I want to introduce my co-host for today, who's absolutely wonderful as usual. Dr. Chanel DeGuzman, who's an executive leadership coach. She's also the author of the book, Come Back to Yourself, Love Life, Live Free. Dr. Chanel has coached women from all walks of life and counseled hundreds of students to realize all the good and greatness inside of them. We desperately need your counsel today. We're going to be talking about this subject a little bit later on, but hi, how are you? How have you been, Chanel?
Good morning, Brian, and good morning to our audience. I have been absolutely wonderful. It's been a tremendous summer, and I don't remember, but the last time we talked, yeah, I got a chance to spend some time there in DC with Yvonne
Yeah.
pageant. And so, having one-on-one time with a 16-year-old is just heaven, actually. It was a blessing, a blessing. We ate morning and dinner, breakfast and dinner, and got a chance to just hang out and teenager sharing stuff with her mom,
Oh,
and so it was wonderful. So it's good to be back and, get these last couple weeks in of before school starts.
I know. You know, that that mother-daughter time, like father-son time is just golden, right? I mean, I saw some of the pictures that you posted on social media of the two of you. You guys look like you were having a blast. Little tea time here and there, a little. Did you guys do a little shopping at
I
all or no?
A little. She did more shopping than I did. She's the shopper, I'm not. But yeah, shopping, dinners, walks, and we got a chance to work out a couple times. So just and then with her and the pageant girls, they got a chance to visit some museums and excursions and dinners. So they also had a great time as a group. So very great experience.
Well, fantastic. Well, I'm glad. I can't wait for both of you to come back to DC. We didn't get a chance to hook
Yes.
up this time, but next time for sure.
Next time.
Um,
Next time
you
for
know,
sure. How have you been,
s-
Brian? You've been good.
I've been good. I've been good. Um, I've been thinking a lot about today's show. And to all our parents, this show is definitely for you. Um, it's that time of year, Chanel. We were just kind of talking offline about this, where on the one hand, a lot of times children from across the globe are like hanging their heads low because summer recess is ending, and there's this beginning of the school year. Sometimes, like older kids actually get excited to go back to school to see all their friends.
Mhm.
But parents, however, face different challenges, right? Maybe even different levels of excitement depending upon the age and grade level of of their child. So we're going to
Mhm.
spend the next hour talking about all of this, and hopefully, um, parents and even students, with a little help from me and Dr. Chanel, will be able to start this school year with a little like hectic energy. Um, and so, Chanel, I'm so glad you're here with us because you have kids older, you have older kids, high school age, college age. I've gone through the process with our son. I mean, he's now an adult now. And so we've got some wisdom to share
You do.
around this. Um,
And
I
your
thought, yeah, go
grandbaby
ahead.
will be going through
Yeah,
all
and
this
grandbaby, right, and
eventually.
grandbaby as well. Okay, yeah, can't. Sorry, I can't.
Yes, can't forget her.
God can't forget you now. Um, but I thought we could start with like some of the challenges that parents face. And again, we were just talking about this, offline before we began the show, where it's just not a situation where it's just all the same. Every situation is very unique, and that those change as the kids get older and they go from pre-K to kindergarten to grade school to middle school to
Yeah.
high school, and then even in college you still have some of this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes.
With your children, has there ever been one common challenge each year that you and Gary faced?
Our biggest challenges, Brian, have revolved around the transition years. So going from fifth grade into middle school and then eighth grade into high school or, ninth grade.
Mm,
Those transition years. And then when they have them at the same time, sometimes
yeah.
that can be a challenge, because you've got, your orientations that you have to attend, and then all the back to school activities, and then getting to know a new set of parents in those particular grade levels. So it can be challenging for sure. But fortunately, and I don't know about you, but we did start rather early. So we got all of those separation things out of the way early.
Yeah.
So now it's
Yeah.
just a matter of organization and just making sure they have all their school forms or sports forms, and we'll talk about
Right.
all of those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, primarily it's the big transition years. When we get a break, like going into seventh grade or going into like now, going into 11th grade, 10th grade, things seem to go a little bit easier, but the big years are a little bit more demanding on us.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, Even though Osagi, he went to a really great school here in DC, Washington Latin. Go Latin Eagles. I think they're the Eagles. Um, Even though he went to the same school from basically sixth, seventh, eighth, and all through high school, because they had one of those schools where everybody could go together.
Mhm.
It was still a transition. It was still a
Absolutely.
transition for him from eighth to ninth specifically, that, and then ninth
Yes.
into 10th. So it's like a triple kind of whammy there, that I know we had to experience. And also, I mean, we were talking about things like, in school and after school activities, which can include sports and educational and academic kind of programs and that kind of thing. I mean, Osaji was part of mock trial. He's part of the mock trial group. And
Mhm.
all that has challenges. So it's like each year you have to kind of like take notice, and that's a challenge for us because then we have to move our schedule around. We have to change our routines, get
Yes.
maybe get some exercise in when we can get it in. I mean, all those kinds of things. So thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Yeah, let
Um,
me just add
yeah,
too,
go
let's
ahead.
not forget the financial challenges that
Oh
happen too
yeah.
at the beginning of the year. So in our case, we have to buy our own books. So, ordering the books and making sure you order them on time. And sometimes they'll give you free delivery if you order it within a specified time period. So making sure you're on top of your calendar. And then any of the additional, obviously we're gonna talk about back to school shopping and just, new backpacks, like, some kids gotta have a new backpack every year. I don't know what that's all about, but, so
Right,
there is a
right,
financial, cost to back to school that has to be factored in as well.
right. Um, I found this wonderful article at care.com. It's called The Top 10 Back to School Challenges Working Parents Face. Highly recommend parents out there read it regardless of what age your children are. And I won't go through all of them, but parents, maybe some of these challenges sound familiar or things that are true. We're going to just do the top three really quickly. Number three is tools to plan ahead for childcare. I mean, whoo. It reads parents can't be in two places at once. With the average school day in the US starting at 8 a.m. and ending at 3 p.m., this is a problem for parents who work from 9 to 5, or for 43% who work non traditional hours like you and me.
Yes.
Whether it's an extra set of hands to help before school starts or after school care, lining up care before the school year begins is key for many families to avoid wait lists and secure availability, especially when after school sitters cost families an average of just $200 per week. Again, so it's an average. It can go up, right? It could be $1,000 a month for just
Right.
a person to be there, you know?
Absolutely. So to me, Brian,
Yeah,
the cost-effective way, if you can get them into aftercare, because we've priced it out, and the aftercare charges are going to usually be less than if you had to hire, a sitter or,
right,
a nanny for after school. And
right.
they usually have some enrichment activities in aftercare,
Mhm.
and then that will buy you that extra time, to get there at by 5:30. So
Right.
if that's a way, and then also that ride sharing, you pick up the kids this day on Tuesday and Thursday, I
Ooh,
pick them up on Monday, Wednesday, and then everybody's on their own on Friday, so get a partner, a
absolutely.
parent partner to help you. But yeah, what you just said in that article is emphasizing do it early before school starts, obviously, if you can.
Mhm, mhm. And then number 2, flexibility to acclimate to new schedules, bus schedules, drop-off times, carpool shifts take some time getting used to. Hybrid or remote work options with flexible morning and afternoon hours can help for the first few weeks of school. So you're just talking about this, right? So like ride shares and all this kind of thing are important. And again, later on, we're going to be talking about some of the health aspects of parents and students that need to be that need to be thought about. Some of this also includes like getting kids in schedule earlier, right? And so don't wait until the day before to say, "Oh, well, you got to get up in the morning." It's those kinds of things. Number 1, gap week coverage. Gap week is the infamous week between school ending and summer camp starting, and then later the end of summer camps and the start of school. Finding coverage while maintaining a regular work schedule is difficult, especially when every parent in your school district is experiencing the same issue. And so, again, these are all these challenges that I know most parents go through. Um, and, listen, we're going to make a turn. I mean, we're just not going to talk about just the challenges. We're going to, give you things that we've learned and things that some of the experts have learned through some of the videos we're going to be hearing from later on about how to move through this stuff. So listen, why don't we take a break, Chanel, and let the parents, kind of chill out for a second, because I know that they're probably the anxiety
Grab their
level is
coffee
probably
and
coming
tea.
up. And what we'll do is we're going to take this break, and when we come back, we'll start this next segment with how you can start or continue, how parents can start or continue the transitional period. So that we'll start there in the back to school, this beginning of the year. So everybody, we're going to take this quick break, and we'll be back with more of Soulivity Today in just a second. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Go to oldvinewinetours.com and book your luxury wine tour today and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. oldvinewinetours.com offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your wine country adventure. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 today.
The following is a paid advertisement from Premium Weight Loss Peptides.
Welcome to Premium Weight Loss Peptides, your source for compounded semaglutide weight loss medication. At Control Your Weight Today, we offer the same active ingredients as FDA-approved drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic, but conveniently dispensed as a dissolvable under the tongue. No more injections, no more pills to swallow. And with our monthly membership, your medication, shipping, and telehealth-related weight loss services are all included.
The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The efficacy of these products has not been confirmed by FDA-approved research. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Start your weight loss journey today. Visit us at controlyourweight.today or scan the QR code.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today as we spend the hour talking about how parents and children can ease back into the start of the school year. And I'm so happy to have Dr. Chanel DeGuzman, author and executive leadership coach, with me to discuss all of this because we're both parents. And so I got the father side, you got the mama side, and we're going to help all our parents out there and students and kids and, in getting, the start of the school year off too.
And
Yeah,
caregivers.
and caregivers, yes, and got to make sure we include the caregivers. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I'm thinking again, we were talking about this transitional period. Let's begin this segment talking about this clip from News 4 Jax out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Year is right around the corner. I know you kids don't want to hear about that, but the transition may be challenging for some students, and experts say it is best to prepare now. Putting away the bathing suits and packing the book bags may feel different for each student.
It's normal for them to have all kinds of emotions.
Strong for Life licensed therapist Jody Baumstein says as students head back to the classroom, gauge how they're feeling by asking open-ended questions, and then simply listen.
We think we need to swoop in and save them from the feeling. But when we say things like, don't worry, it's going to be fine, it doesn't make anybody feel better. It actually makes them feel worse because now they feel like there's something wrong with them. They shouldn't feel that way, and you don't get it.
Baumstein says returning to school can be nerve-wracking for some because of the unknowns. So help by filling in the blanks.
So thinking about things like going to meet the teacher night or going and taking a tour of the school if it's a new space, this is really important because a lot of kids have anxiety about the physical space.
Routines are important for children, so Baumstein says to start getting back into one. If summer bedtimes are different, inch back to where they should be before the first day of school. If there are new school supplies, practice using them so students are comfortable. And she says to keep the conversations going throughout the school year. If you ask your child about their day and you only get a one-word answer, because that's a lot of time what kids do, try using games at dinner time as conversation and conversation starters. You gotta, ask open-ended things. So one example is the high and low game. It's where your child has to tell you the high and low points of their day.
So important stuff. I know my parents were probably, even though they were educators, there's even things that they would probably get out of this when I was like of school age. Right. What were some of your takeaways when you were watching that video, Chanel?
So mine is just to start early, like right now, like this 2-week time frame, especially if you're going back after Labor Day, like my child is. Some kids have already gone back, but hopefully we're catching those parents who still have time before school starts after Labor Day to really transition into tightening up that bedtime routine. I think that is the biggest thing because during the summer, the kids just keep going to bed later and later and, backing up an hour, half an hour each night until you get them on that regular time. I mean, most kids need 8 hours. The younger kids need 8 to 10 hours. So, that would be a really good first start. And then making sure that if you guys can talk about your, snacks and meals and getting breakfast, because my teenager, like they say, well, I'm not hungry. Well, gosh, let's get something. Let's get yogurt, a granola bar, a hard-boiled egg. I mean, those two are the biggest struggles and have been in our home is our breakfast and sleeping schedule. And so we're tightening that up right now. So hopefully you guys will start now.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's why we're trying to do this show and get this information out to people, because starting early, and even for those parents who've already kind of started, doesn't mean that you've missed the boat. It's just start practicing these things, because again,
Yes.
what my parents would always tell other parents as educators was, listen, if your kids are able to start strong, right, they end strong. And so having these processes like what you were just talking about, Chanel, I love that the communication thing is really important, right? Even though as your kids get older, especially teenagers, right, going through adolescence, they don't want to talk to their parents about anything. They think you're dumb um, and crazy and that you don't know anything. At least just asking the questions like, okay, what was the low point? What was the high point? Like in the video said, um, that kind of thing creates a dialogue that becomes the regular kind of practice, and they get used to it. And then you'll find out that they actually enjoy talking to you about certain things, right? It's funny
Brian,
you were
I
talking
think
about
on that
yeah, go
point,
ahead. Go ahead.
oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about the food thing too. That I know I know a friend of mine who has daughters, and the food thing, they wouldn't want to eat because some boy, right, called him fat or some stupid thing.
Oh,
And they were like, "Oh, I don't want to eat because I'm too fat." It's like, are you serious right now? And then you have to like get the communication. You have to give understanding and that kind of thing, reinforce some positive things, and then have them eat, because they have to eat. They have to eat at home and
yes,
they have to eat at
have
school.
have to eat. They have
Right.
to
Go
eat.
ahead.
That could be a
What
whole
were
nother topic, Brian, on body image,
and oh
pressure
my
from,
gosh.
peers. But what I was going to say, like I gave the example earlier about Giovanni, my daughter, 16-year-old, she's a junior, spending that time together in DC, just figuring out where can I have just special time with my child, like almost a date night with each child, or, my
Right.
child, so that, we're not necessarily talking about school, but we're just developing the relationship naturally. So seeding your relationship with your student is so important, because that is going to open up the dialogue and the channel. So then when something happens, they're just going to naturally tell you, because you're not like prying. You already have a trusting, loving relationship, but you have to put in the time. It can't be the child gets in trouble. It's got to be, let's go out for ice cream. Let's take a walk around the block. Just find little times. And then all of a sudden, you're going to start hearing about this friend and that friend and this friend's boyfriend. And, so you'll start getting all the juicy information as you avail yourself in the downtime. So put in the
Exactly.
time. Put in the time.
Exactly. So important. It's good stuff. It builds the relationships and that kind of thing. Listen, we're gonna take another quick break, but Chanel, one great important aspect is there's certain kind of health kind of aspects, especially mental health, that go along with the start of the school year. So listen, everyone, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna learn about these aspects when we come back with more of Soulivity Today in just a second.
Are you a business owner looking to expand your reach and revenue to a perfect community? Being a Soulivity Today radio sponsor puts your business in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every week, and it's affordable too. For about the cost of a cup of coffee and snack each day, you can reach ideal people looking for your product or service. Soulivity Today is a weekly, hour-long program that dives into the heart of what matters most in our lives, the people, places, and topics that shape our world. It's the perfect place for your business to shine. Go to soulivity.com/Soulivity Today to learn how you can expand your business marketplace by becoming a Soulivity Today radio show sponsor. And for a limited time, special rates are being offered, so don't delay.
Addiction is an epidemic. Millions are struggling and over 100 lives are lost each day. Are you next? At Better Addiction Care, we understand the devastating impact of drug and alcohol addiction. Our network of treatment centers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's time to fix the pieces addiction has destroyed. Our network of treatment centers offer detox, therapy, counseling, private luxurious centers, physical fitness, chef-prepared meals, aftercare, and your insurance may cover up to 100% of costs. Only you can put an end to your addiction. It's time to make the life-changing call and get the help you need. Call now, and in just minutes, you could be on your way to a drug and alcohol-free life. The call is free and confidential, and there is no obligation. Visit betteraddictioncare.com or call
855-246-4024. That's 855-246-4024.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today as we spend the hour talking about back to school. And back with me is Dr. Chanel DeGuzman, author and executive leadership coach, to discuss all of this. Dr. Chanel, there's this wonderful clip that I want to start this segment with from WSPA 7 News. I think everybody's going to really enjoy this one.
Year is right around the corner. I know you kids don't want to hear about that, but the transition may be...
Wrong clip, everybody. Hang on one second. Let me make sure I'm playing the right clip.
Teachers and students get back into that school routine. Our Julia Keener spoke with health experts about the best ways to stay on track this school year.
This time of year can be hectic, causing us to forget the little things like the impact of a healthy diet and regular bedtime. Spartanburg regional health experts suggest parents take it back to the basics, emphasizing the importance of a healthy diet, regular sleep schedule, and minimize screen time. Arguably the most important, according to Dr. Kristen Landy, is establishing a consistent sleep schedule.
It's vital, especially for younger kids, in order to keep them on track in terms of growth and development, just making sure they stick to that routine, especially when it comes to sleep.
She says nowadays, it's also important for parents to make sure they are putting electronics away and limiting screen time, especially before bedtime.
Putting the electronics away, because kids are good at, making you think they're asleep and then scrolling, and so just making sure that kids are truly getting restful sleep at nighttime.
Both Dr. Landy and dietitian Carrie Stewart agree. Most people know what to do, but have trouble implementing it. Stewart suggests making things easy on yourself by doing things like meal prepping.
You as a parent can definitely be getting fruits and vegetables, pre-rinse them, pre-wash them, cut them up, put them in a Tupperware or something clear at eye level for your child so that when they open their refrigerator, that's where their eyes go, and 9 times out of 10, they're gonna pick what's easy and what's already there.
She says involving your kids in the process will naturally help them pick up healthy habits.
Choosing what recipes, and they're helping to choose maybe even something as simple as what vegetable do you want, what fruit do you want today. They feel empowered by that. They're a lot more likely to eat it.
Experts say focusing on those 3 things can go a long way towards a healthy and happy school year.
I like that. My parents were big on like nutrition, that kind of thing. And they were educators, but they were also psychotherapists as well. So the mental health thing was also important.
Yes.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when you were listening to this?
I appreciated the idea of involving the child. So maybe especially our teenagers, because, I don't know if you're the kind that would, have the phone outside the bedroom. I know some parents are like that. We didn't do that. So we had to say, hey, everything shuts off at a certain time. But if we can communicate and decide on that time and agree together, obviously having that parental, influence. But as they get older, I think it's important to get their buy-in, and because they're eventually, when they go to college, they're going to have to start doing these things. So try to give them a little bit of independence, in those upper grades. So I thought that was a really good suggestion. And then the same thing with nutrition. What kind of vegetable do you want today? What do you want me to, or having them pack their own lunches so that they can get involved and help with the prep. I mean, what a great bonding activity to, cut those strawberries and pack those grapes, or, whatever the snacks that they want, get them involved. And even before that, go to the grocery store together, so that they can pick out their snacks as well and keep it on the healthy side. But their involvement is going to make a difference in their buy-in when it comes to going to bed, being true to decreasing that screen time before nighttime, and then also having nutritional snacks and lunches that they're involved in that whole process.
Thank you for that. And I love the fact that you're saying have them be involved, because the involvement doesn't have to start when they're older. It can start when they're younger. It has to start then, where they're sitting with you as you're doing preparing their lunches or that kind of thing, or even breakfast, right? And explaining, hey, listen, we're eating this because this is healthy for our bodies and this and that, and having them develop really healthy habits around what to eat, right? I know in our family, we were already cooking when we were young. I mean, I had two working, I'm sorry, same with you, right? We had two working parents. And so it's like, oh no, we're not going to do all the cooking. And so we had to do that and then also prepare our lunches, but they always kept an eye on what we were eating and going back and reinforcing, hey, listen, you got to have energy. You need to eat healthily and that kind of thing. Doesn't mean that every once in a while you have the pizza at school or the hamburger or whatever it is, but you need to make sure that you're fueling your body with good, healthy, nutritious food. And I like the fact that they talked about regular hours of sleep, because that was also big. My dad, the two boys, right? He'd come into our rooms and go, no, TV off,
right?
Get off the phone. It's time to go to bed. You have a busy day tomorrow, right? You got this test coming up, or you got this quiz coming up, and it's like, we might, push back a little bit, but we got it. And we would go to sleep, right? And then now you understand even more so, and then we can pass that on, right? To our kids, even though we're going to get to push back.
Let me just also interject the after school snack. Let's not forget that.
Oh,
so if you are staying after school for sports or for even aftercare, we like to just give an extra snack. Even on the ride home, instead of having to stop at, one of the fast food restaurants to pick up something, even before we get home, having that little extra after school snack can really save on the budget and help the child get through to dinner time as well.
Absolutely. There's always the after school snack, right?
And we have spent so much money stopping to get, a taco or something, a smoothie, just to hold them over. And I'm like, we got to bring in the snack to school so that you have it, because sometimes even the little snack and aftercare is not as filling as they would want. So, you bring in your extra snacks. So.
And they're like, we were furnaces, right? They're furnaces. They food, they could eat a full meal and 2 hours later, I'm hungry. And it's like, so again, that's so important. Thank you for that. Oh man, this is such good stuff today. Listen, we're going to take another quick break. But when we come back, listen, we've been giving you tips throughout the entire show. We're going to end with some more tips for all of you parents and students and caregivers. So we'll be right back with more of Soulivity Today in just a second.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Dial 877-798-5991 today. That's 877-798-5991.
The following is a paid advertisement from Premium Weight Loss Peptides.
Welcome to Premium Weight Loss Peptides, your source for compounded semaglutide weight loss medication. At Control Your Weight Today, we offer the same active ingredients as FDA-approved drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic, but conveniently dispensed as a dissolvable under the tongue. No more injections, no more pills to swallow. And with our monthly membership, your medication, shipping, and telehealth-related weight loss services are all included.
The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The efficacy of these products has not been confirmed by FDA-approved research. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Start your weight loss journey today. Visit us at controlyourweight.today or scan the QR code.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today. And again, back with me is Dr. Chanel DeGuzman. We've been talking about all these great things, these tips throughout the whole show. I thought we would give people even more. Why don't we begin with some great tips from KGW News, and then we'll be back with some of our own in just a second.
It's back to school season, and this week, lots of students went back to class. Next week, more will be doing the same. I spoke to a handful of parents who talked a little bit about what's on their mind as we head into a brand new school year.
It takes care of time.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be a doctor. I forgot.
3-year-old Winnie is taking the first step toward her goal and heading to preschool this year.
I like that it has toys.
She's ahead in speech. Yeah.
While mom Irene Stafford couldn't be more proud, there are some things that weigh heavily on her mind.
Yeah, I pay the same as my rent for her school, so it's a struggle, and I'm a single mom. So making sure she's in the right school, but also making sure that we can keep the lights on is definitely a struggle. Yeah.
For other parents, like LaQuisha Miniweather, who has kids in 4th, 7th, and 8th grades in the Portland Public School District, there's a lot of hope for this year.
Last year, I noticed that our teachers were pretty stretched thin, very stressed out, and at max capacity and still giving. I'm just hoping to see a difference. I'm hoping that this year there's a bigger sense of community.
And that's partly what Barbara Stratt, who has 3 kids in the Westley Wilsonville School District, hopes for too.
And being PTA president at one of the elementary schools, we loved just connecting with the community and getting people more involved. I think that's a huge aspect of getting parents, now that COVID's over, getting them back in the schools and interacting with the kids.
The parents we spoke with, like Matt Randall, who has a 3rd grader in Portland Public, generally optimistic about the coming year.
Yeah, we're just really looking forward to seeing how he does this year. It's going to be great.
I love that ending pose. He's going to conquer the school year for sure. Okay, one of the parents we spoke with, Barbara Stratt, has a podcast called Thriving Family, aimed at just that, helping families thrive. And she had a handful of tips that she wanted to give to parents and families starting out the school year. They're super helpful. 1, if your kid is worried, you want to address those worries. Ask them specifically about what they're worried about so you can address it directly. Next, it is okay to worry. Let your child know it's normal to be worried or nervous about starting school. We all were there one time, right? 3, and this one is her favorite, encourage your kids. Remind them of other times they've done hard things and totally rocked it. 4, focus on what they're excited about. Get them excited. Do they have a new pair of shoes they want to wear? Is a friend in the same class? Celebrate it. And 5, this one she says is the most important. Energy is key. Remember, your energy trickles down to your kids. So if you're acting stressed or nervous, they're going to likely feel it too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, Chanel, I remember this statement from my dad before I had kids. And I asked him, I said, what's like one of the most important things that you should do for your children throughout your whole life? And he said, with you and Paul, you never criticize, you always encourage. Doesn't mean that you can't be discerning and say, hey, if you could do that again, would you do the same thing? That kind of thing. But you're never critical, right? Because those first 3 things around addressing worry, it's okay to worry, and then encourage, Man, that makes a lot of difference. Makes a lot of difference. What were your thoughts when you heard this video, and then maybe some another personal tip before we get out of here?
Yeah, I thought everything that was shared was on point, especially getting the child excited about something that they feel really good about, whether it's, returning to a new friend, or maybe they make a new friend, making sure that they are surrounded by supportive, either teachers or administrators, and making sure that the parent involves themselves in the school. So this is actually one of my tips, is to
Mhm.
make sure that you are visible in your child's school. So
Mm.
whether that's, for the young kids, figuring out a way to meet the teacher before school, maybe have the child meet the teacher before school. Those are things that can minimize the child's nervousness, or maybe something that they're a little anxious about. They also eventually talked about, perhaps in an earlier video, can the child visit the school or the classroom, their new classroom that they're going to be in? Anything that we can do to familiarize the child before the start of school. For example, when my daughter went to the new campus, so her school has all campuses on one big property. So when she went over to the high school, her brother and her brother's friends took her on a personal tour of the grounds of the building
Oh,
before school
wow.
started. So then you're not trying to search and get on to class on time. So that would be a really good idea, especially for our middle school transitioning students, our sixth graders, as well as our ninth graders. And then making sure our parents enjoying that PTA or the parent group or the moms group, dad groups. We call it now just the parent group, but that's also
Mhm.
for caregivers as well, so that you can build those bonds with the parents and hear about things that are coming up, things that are happening, so you stay in the know, and that you form these relationships so you can also get some support too. So it's just not, remember, not just about the child. We need
Right.
support. I have found being involved in my parent groups to be invaluable for my support as a parent
Absolutely.
of, two kids at that time. So
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, because I think a couple of times, we're always giving, 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 right? And so our personal cups can get a little low. And so having that group dynamic, that village, right? This village that's all the villages in the community is raising the children. You can feel a little support coming your way as well. I was also going to say again, our parents were educators specifically in school community relations, right? And one of the things that they would always say is, listen, we're trying to do things, but don't just wait on us. If you see that there's a need, go out and organize and have your parents and come back with us and say, hey, listen, we got this great idea of bringing these parents together. I remember at one school, in my brief experience being an educator myself, one school that they had organized every single morning at this one elementary school, they had at least 30 parents there at 7:45 to greet the kids as they were walking through the door, right? And this was every single day, Monday through Friday. A lot of them were fathers. A lot of them were fathers. So the fathers were there and they would be high-fiving the kids as they went in. How that worked out was the test scores that were at that particular school were off the chart. The attendance was off the chart. The engagement and all those things around teacher were off the chart because all the kids felt supported. All of the kids felt supported, right? So
that's
things
huge.
like that. Yeah,
That's huge,
exactly.
right? Right. And one thing we kind of touched upon was that whole mental health aspect. So
Yeah.
if the child is experiencing worry or anxiety, remember that the school also typically will have resources like a school psychologist, like a guidance counselor, even a trusted administrator, a
Right.
trusted staff person or teacher that the
Right.
child can go to and talk about some of these things in addition to our, the parent as well as the caregiver. So definitely
Absolutely.
utilize any available resources within the school as well to help in
Ab-
any mental health issues.
Absolutely. And that is the perfect way to end the tips because the school has this is a wealth of resources that are there. it's that you're paying for this, everyone. You're paying for it. So why not use it? And again, remember that all this stuff is held in strict confidentiality. So, don't worry about stuff getting out to other parents and all of that kind of thing. Just go get the support for yourself and for your children. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take another quick break. We got more of Soulivity Today coming up, everybody. So stay right there and we'll be right back. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Go to oldvinewinetours.com and book your luxury wine tour today and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. oldvinewinetours.com offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your wine country adventure. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 today.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Dial 855-486-4553 today. That's 855-486-4553.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity. Listen, let's get to some gifts from the heart. Again, I'm going to have to create something for that because this is like one of my favorite parts of the show, where each of you, especially our collaborators, are highlighted because you guys need to be highlighted because you're providing such wonderful things to our audience. We were just talking about parents, right? Here's a great resource that you're offering, Chanel, around, these coaching sessions, where people can start the next chapter or they can continue a chapter. They can talk to you about different things that are happening in their world. Tell people a little bit about these coaching sessions and things that, ways that they can benefit from this.
Absolutely. So, Brian, we talked about if you're stressed, if you're full of anxiety, if you're lacking direction and purpose and feeling frustrated or unfulfilled. So a lot of the women that I work with, especially, and I work with both genders or all genders, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're lacking confidence, that trickles down to our kids, and our kids pick up, like the video said, on our energy. So I am offering a one-on-one complimentary coaching session to find out, what's going on with you so that you can be the best, especially if you have school-age children, college-age student, that energy is picked up in a positive, strong, empowering way from your kids. So we want to get you empowered. So feel free to call 313-410-9909 to sign up for your free complimentary coaching session, where we will examine where you are, where you want to go, and what is getting in the way. What are those barriers that we can minimize to get you on your right path? So very happy and
Absolutely.
excited to offer that.
Absolutely. And this is from anybody in the United States, wherever you are, the support is there. You are not alone. So pick up the phone, people, and get your complimentary coaching session today with Dr. Chanel. You will not regret it. Again, that phone number is area code 313-410-9909. Again, this is not something that you will regret. This is something that will empower you for the rest of your life. So thank you, Chanel, for providing this great service to folks. And thank you for just being here and providing your thoughts and wisdom with folks around today's topic around back to school things. And I mean, you've given wisdom around other things, but specifically this one, because I think parents, caregivers, and students and children, this is like rough. It's always rough at this time of year. And so they need some support. And I think for them, they're probably feeling a little less alone in this process.
Absolutely. And they can
Yeah.
celebrate all the big transitions as well, too. So a lot to celebrate as well.
So thank you for that. Listen, everybody, we're about to get out of here. We just want to remind you that, listen, please follow us on social media. And if you go click on the link in our social media, you can also join our mailing list by visiting the Soulivity Today site. We're on all the major platforms. Just, search for Soulivity and you'll find us. Also, go to your podcast provider and take Soulivity Today wherever you go. You can just download 1 or 2 of our episodes, or even more if you like, and enjoy us for the rest of your travels, even if you go out of town, like we are going to do in a minute. Listen, running out of time. Just want to invite you guys to come back and join us for every show on either Soulivity TV at soulivity.com or on select radio stations from coast to coast. Listen, until next time, I really want you to listen in on this. Listen, keep having real conversations, those that empower, inspire, and motivate you so that you can learn more about your passion, right? The passion that you have in your life, your purpose, because sooner than later, you're going to create a life full of high quality living, your best life today. This is Brian Westley Johnson on behalf of everybody here at Soulivity saying bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.